Namaste and welcome. So happy to see you here. This is our first class of the new year. So, this will be a new year yoga tune up, a nice slow flow to come back to movement, to breath, and intention, and to manifest anything in our life. Focus starts with intention, creating that idea, and then following up with attention. Where we place our attention and our actions and our choices is what shows up and what we create for ourselves in our lives, personally or professionally. So let's reflect on that. What is your intention starting this new year? And where do you place the gift of your attention? And especially as we flow into this practice here together. And it's all about inner hygiene. And when I think of that, it's like brushing our teeth. We have our shower and we brush our teeth, but what about brushing our mind? Clear our minds of any negativity or drama or thought processes just don't serve us anymore, and focus on clearing and cleansing the body from the inside out so that we stay awake and alive and vibrant and empowered and inspired, and just really better versions of ourselves. So let's practice that together here today in our slow flow to tune our bodies and our minds up and get the juices flowing. So let's begin with a nice 3 rounds of decongesting the inner organs and our guts after finishing up last year and holidays and get into the new year. So 3 rounds of Kapalabhati, pulsed abdominal breathing, which is great to boost the circulation and boost your energy. And then we'll get moving in our asana practice. So as you're sitting with your spine nice and tall, let's take 3 deep breaths together. Inhale, exhale, deep breath through your nose. If you need to let out a sigh to release anything that's just not serving you right now, let that out with your breath. And give yourself the gift of being present and fully attentive to you, to your mind, your body, your breath here for this next 45 minutes together. Good. We'll start these rounds here. Interlace the fingers and index pointing straight up, the thumbs at the sternum. Roll the shoulders down and back. Allow the spine to get long and your thoracic cage to be open and wide. And Kapalabhati breathing, or pulsed abdominal breathing, it's an exhale where we pull the belly in. So it's like a sharp, like when you cough, that the belly comes in, you let the air out. The inhale is spontaneous. All right, so let's find a rhythm. If you're used to it, go faster. If you're just getting started, slow rhythm is nice, but just maintain your rhythm. About 30 rounds of breath. You ready? Let's breathe in. And begin. Pumping the belly, pulling the belly button into your spine as you exhale forcefully. Keep going. So you're letting the abdomen inflate naturally like a little balloon internally and forcefully expelling the air. Excellent for massaging your internal organs, decreasing deep tensions in the inner tissues of your body. Exhale completely. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, now about 2/3 of your lung capacity to hold your breath in. Let's hold the breath for about 20 seconds. Draw the chin down to the chest, sternum lifts. And see if you can lift your pelvic floor muscles like you had to go to the bathroom and you're holding. So we're containing prana, energy within our bodies right now. So as we retain, we keep the physical body relaxed, but we just kind of lock the chin and lock the pelvic floor and feel that suspension and stillness. And then let the air out. Relax your hands. Breathe in, breathe out. Just feel the effects of that first round. We'll do 3. Next round, same hand position, but arms up above the head. Let's get long and open. Eyes either gazing at the floor or eyes closed. Let's begin. Exhale completely. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep your arms there. Breathe in 2/3 to 3/4 of your lung capacity and hold. Suspend the breath in. Locking the chin to the chest, sternum lifts, pelvic floor slightly engaged and lifted as we suspend time, space, and energy. And release, exhale. Soften the arms back down. Breathe and roll the shoulders. Just feel the effects of that second round starting to get energy moving. Let's take the hands behind the back. So same position, but the index pointing to the floor. Drawing the knuckles to the floor. Open the chest and the sternum. Broaden your collarbones. Inhale. Let's begin. Final round. You find your pace. Just maintain it. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Bringing more circulation, more oxygen into the body, more clarity of mind. Let's inhale to retain. Breathing in, drop the chin down, lift the chest, locking at your throat. Engage the pelvic floor muscles, containing the prana within your body and your central energy channels. And release, and just breathe here 2-3 times. Notice sensation in your body. What's there? If you're not used to that, it might be lightheadedness, just normal. Might be tingling, might be pulsing as prana is starting to be liberated in your body, leaving us feeling more vibrant, more awake, more alive, more energized. And that becomes more powerful the more you do it. Good. Let's find our way onto all fours here, my friends. If you're using a cushion, we'll just place it aside for now. We'll start with some nice, easy cat's breath to increase the mobility of our spine. Spread your fingers wide. Let's get equal distance between our fingers. Hands can be just very slightly in front of the shoulders. Curl the toes under, knees separated, hip distance apart. Let's take a nice rounded position. Tuck the tailbone under, drop the crown down to the head. And then lengthen, try to create distance between the crown of your head and your tailbone. And just keep doing that. And I invite you here to synchronize your breath and body movement. So in all traditional practices of Hatha Yoga, the breath initiates, sustains, and completes all movement. So what that means here is that you're starting your in-breath a little bit before you move. The in-breath carries you through the extension, and when you're finished, there's still a bit more breath to go in. And then you start your exhale a little bit before your movement time. The exhale carries you through that flex position of your spine, and when you're finished moving, there's still a bit of breath to go out ideally. So practice that here for a few rounds and do your best to get your breath movement longer than your body movement so that there's a smooth, steady, even flow. Breathing in and out through the nose. Create space in your torso, in your spine, between your ribs, in your abdomen. Just kind of feel what's there. Do you feel loose or do you feel tight? Do you feel that there's a nice suppleness and mobility through all the joints right now in your shoulders, your spine, your hips? Or do you feel that things are a little tense or tight? So just become the witness, aware what's what there, but with whatever is there, but don't judge it. It'll all shift and merge and change as we move. We'll do that one more time. And the next time you exhale, just relax your feet here and your toes and come back into a child's. Stretch the arms forward and let's rock the body side to side, wiggling the hips from one heel to the next. And continue extending and walking the arms forward as you rock the pelvis from side to side so that you're elongating from your armpits right to the tips of your fingers. Your head can come downwards towards the floor and just feel that nice, delicious stretch. And as you breathe in deeply, notice that you're stretching the inner body. So the lungs are expanding, pushing against your rib cage and your obliques and your abdominals and your spinal muscles and all the deep fascia and connective tissue. Good. Let's just take one more breath like that. Breathe low into the lower back, the lower lobes of the lungs, like you're nourishing your kidneys and your adrenal glands to balance out your lymphatic system, your endocrine system. And then come back up into all fours. Send those hands far ahead of you. We'll come into our first downward facing dog. Now I'll suggest keeping the shoulders down, elbows soft. As you curl yourself up, let's keep the knees bent to begin. And just send the chest and the belly towards your thighs. Let your head hang down deeply, really gripping the mat here with the joints of your fingers, your fingertips, so it's not the wrist taking all the weight. Use the strength of your hands. Let's develop that hand strength and resiliency. And as you send your pelvis upwards to the sky, send it far back so you're getting a diagonal line from the top of your neck right up through the tailbone. And then from there, let's start pedaling the feet. Like this is the first time in your life you've ever done a downward facing dog, and we're just exploring it curiously. So how does that feel for your toes? I'm certainly feeling my calves in that one and my ankles as I increase the range of motion. So play with range of motion in all of these postures. Mini movements, medium, large movements, as long as you can keep breathing smoothly and fluidly. Pedaling your dog here, just walking your dog, feeling the ankles and the toes and the feet. And then up the back of your legs, maybe your calves, your hamstrings. And then soften both knees and send both heels over to the left, kind of like a windshield wiper move. And then back to the center and windshield them over to the other side. And keep sending your chest and your belly towards your thighs. And how does that feel through the waist and the side body and your hips? And maybe when you send your heels to the left, can you press more firmly through your right hand? When it's time to send your heels over to the right side, can you plant more weight or energy into your left hand? See how that feels. Starting to stimulate all the muscles through the side body along with the back body at the same time. We'll just do that one more time. Just feeling that exploration of curious motion and movement. Breathing deeply. And as you walk yourself back to the center, just drop your knees back to the floor. And then move into a nice, easy child's pose. And this time with your arms alongside your body, and feel the sensation in your shoulders, your arms, your wrists, your hands, and your fingers. And I like to open and close my hands and fingers and just get circulation there, that those hands and arms just supported you for a few minutes in that sequence. And then bring them back forward. We're going to come into a forward bend. So curl back up into that downward facing dog. And this time pedal your feet, but you're walking them towards your hands. A mini movement, tiny baby steps until you come into Uttanasana as a standing forward bend. So your feet are about hip distance apart. Soft knees if the legs aren't warmed up enough yet. Don't strain to get them super straight. And let's just flow through a halfway lift. So place your hands on your shins and lengthen your spine forward. And as you exhale, forward fold, go deeper into that extension and flexion. So keep doing that in your own breath. So the breath in carries you forward, and the breath out draws your belly closer to your thighs and the crown of the head to the floor. That feels so good as you go into the forward bend to use your head as a weight, kind of like a deep weight pulling on the spine, creating more space between each vertebrae, allowing the intervertebral discs to be nourished through the breath and through the movement. So we're breathing in through the halfway lift, pressing into the shins to get the spine long, chest lifted, hips pulling back, and then just gradually softening into the forward fold. And I'm keeping my knees soft here so it doesn't strain my lower back in any way. And as my legs start to get warmer, I can naturally extend the knees a little bit. But you don't need to force that. In yoga, we don't force anything. We just let the breath do the work and the body follows very naturally. So after your last one, when you go into that forward fold again, exaggerate the bend in your knees even more, like you're moving into a squat. Feel the strength of your legs supporting you, Part your feet enough so that you can ground even weight through both feet, feeling really strong. And then start to round your spine. Roll yourself up. Undulate vertebrae by vertebrae upwards. Breathing as you come on up. Engage your gluteal muscles, your bum, your thighs as you come up into standing. Into a mountain pose. We extend the arms upwards overhead here. And as you root down through your feet, rise up through the tips of your fingers. So see how that feels as you go from a forward bend into a standing position. Blood pressure change, and start to lengthen. And see if you can get your right side a little bit longer than your left side. So you're reaching up. And then get your left side a little longer than your right side. So you're just kind of alternating here at your own pace a couple of times. So it's a lift on one end, and then on the other side. Beautiful. And then take the arms back down alongside of your body. We'll come into a nice wide stance here. Turn your toes outwards as you release the arms. Just release, give it a little shake out. That feels good. Transfer your weight from side to side as you wake up the hips and the legs a little bit more. And just sink into the legs. We'll just do that up and down. So we'll open the arms, extended right out from shoulder height. Good. And then inhale, standing taller as you exhale, sink in. So it's a really smooth, small movement. So the inhale rises you up and the exhale takes you down. Good. Inhale and exhale. Just kind of feeling like there's an elevator move there. We're coming up to the top floor and we're going down maybe midway and then up. And you could explore how deep you go if you want to come right down into those lower floors to engage your legs even more. That feels yummy. And then down. We're going to add the hands into the movement here. So turn the palms up to the ceiling when you come up, and then turn the palms facing down when you go down. So just use the wrists, releasing hands and wrists here at the same time. Keep going. Your pace, your breath in takes you up, your breath out takes you down. And then how about adding the shoulders? So big internal and external rotation. So getting the collarbones and the shoulder blades moving here and the arm bones moving. Good. And stretch and elongate from the shoulders right through the tips of your fingers. I feel that lengthening all through the ligaments even and the muscles of biceps and triceps and forearms. As my body gets warmer, I feel just naturally it feels good to sink deeper into that deep plie or goddess squat. So for the women out there, be a goddess in that position. For all my men friends, be the god. Let's do that one more time. And then find your position where you can just stay there. Stay there and savor it. Where is that balanced position between right and left? And then turn the palms back up. Beautiful. Now, as you sink down through the lower body, rise up through the upper body and take the arms up nice and tall and long, about shoulder height or shoulder distance apart. Yes. And then see if you can turn those little fingers towards one another. So you're kind of doing an external rotation of the shoulders. And then just sink in, say hello to your legs. Drop the tailbone down. Get your spine long, your neck long. Power posture. One last breath in that position. And then just release your hands back to your hips as you rise back out of it. Any little wiggle that feels good. All right. So I'm going to take my feet a touch closer together, bending in the knees again, hands on the thighs, spinal rotation. So it's the torso here that's going to initiate the movement. So we breathe in here in the center and you press a little bit against the opposite thigh as you breathe out and look behind your opposite shoulder. So keep going with your breath. So spiral motion here. Oh, that feels good. Breathe in center, breathe out twist. So intention, attention. Remember, what are we placing our attention? So our attention is placed on the rib cage. As I exhale, those right ribs are moving across to the left. And I'm just checking in. Where do I feel the most mobility in my spine right now? Lower back, middle back, neck. Is it blocking? Is it moving freely? Okay, you can come up higher if that's too intense for the legs, or go down lower if you feel that you need a little bit more heat. Okay, so you always choose your range of motion. You decide. I'm just making the suggestions. Okay, so giving you opportunities to explore your own body. And we'll do that one more time. Beautiful. And as you come back through the center, just roll and round yourself back up into a standing, hands on your hips. Bring your feet so that they're parallel and straight. Engage your thigh muscles now. Get strong in the legs. Forward fold your torso. Coming down, take the hips back. And almost like you're going into a downward dog, let's extend the arms forward as far as you can on the floor. So you might need to bend your knees or make your feet wider to get those hands down, or use blocks if you prefer. So I'm gluing my hands into the mat in front of me, and I'm pressing the palms of the hands away from me here. And at the same time as I'm pressing the hands away from me, I'm trying to slide my feet towards one another to switch on the muscles of the adductors in your inner thighs. And then take a deep breath and see if you can get long through the arms, the shoulders, and the waist. And drop your head down. Good. And after another breath, just very slowly start to walk the palms towards your feet so that your fingertips and your toes are in line. And then breathe out, draw the crown of your head downwards. Just keep pressing and pushing the fingertips away from you, but your hands are glued to your mat. What that's going to do is help draw the belly in between the thighs. And as the belly draws between the thighs, you're pressing down through the feet. And I like to bend my knees to kind of exaggerate that downward motion of energy. And as I press down through the feet and the legs and press away with the hands, lifting the bum upwards towards the ceiling to draw the crown of the head down to the floor. Lots of stuff going on there. So you can bend and extend the knees. Try that. Press through your feet, bend, and then see what happens when you press the palms forward to help you lift your hips skyward and the crown of your head downwards. We'll do that again. One more time. Use your breath, bringing lots of circulation through the torso, into your head, your brain. Very nourishing. Great for a full body tune-up here. And when you breathe in again, take your hands to your shins. Do that halfway lift, just like we did earlier with the feet close together, and look forward. Breathe. And then take your hands to your hips. Engage your glutes and start to stand up. Good. Hands on the lower back, soft knees, and just extend the spine. Look up. Good. Almost like you're doing a standing cobra with your upper body here. And then bring it back into neutral. Beautiful. Let's take those feet close together. We'll come to the top of our mat and do a nice slow salutation. So glue your feet together. Let's engage the thighs, root down through the legs. Inhale, extend the arms right up overhead, extended mountain. Take a breath. As you exhale, dive down towards the floor. We're going to go nice and slow, so each breath deserves a breath or two. Forward fold. Maybe the legs are warmer now, so you can extend them a little bit deeper. Forehead moves towards the knees, but the crown moves to the floor. Bend both knees. Let's exaggerate like you're going through a squat position and take a big step back with your right leg into a lunge, as far back as it'll go. Draw the knee down towards the floor. Press firmly into your front foot to float your arms upwards towards the sky here. Breathe. Interlace your fingers just like we did in our breath work. Look up to your thumbs. As you draw the hips downwards, bending that front knee, back toes are curled under. The hip is moving downwards towards the floor as the spine and chest and heart lifts upwards. Take another breath. And when you're ready to exhale, take your hands back down. Frame your front foot with your hands. Take a big step back to your downward facing dog. Moving from up to down, great for circulation and flow. How does this down dog feel compared to the first one you did? Take a full breath. And when you inhale again, take your knees to the mat. Chin, chest lower to the floor. See if you can get your elbows glued to your body. And then extend your legs back behind you. Press firmly into the tops of your feet and your hips. And go for 3 cobras here. So inhale on the way up and exhale on the way down. Try to get longer forward as opposed to higher. So imagine that you're pulling the palms of your hands back towards your feet to help you give a little bit of leverage to get some spaciousness through the upper body. And after your third one, let's push up and go back into the downward facing dog. Elbows close to the body, either from your knees or your toes, you choose. A nice big step back. Glue your feet together again here. Take a breath. 3-legged dog. Let's extend our right leg up and back. Go long. Press your belly and your chest towards that left thigh. Open up as much as you need to, but stay long. And as you exhale, bend your right knee, draw the right foot in between the hands, lower your left knee to the floor. Root down into your front foot, float those arms back up towards the ceiling again. Interlace the fingers and look up. Back toes are curled under, and see if you can get the same amount of pressure into each toe so that you're getting an opening and a stretch through the foot. As the hips move down, the torso lifts up. We look up towards our thumbs and take another full breath. As you exhale, let's frame the front foot with the hands. Take it down to the floor. Lift your back knee off the floor. Take the both feet together at the top of your mat, stepping together into your forward bend. Soft knees. Let's extend both arms up overhead. Stand tall exactly where you began. And then arms alongside of your body to complete that cycle. Let's do it on the other side. Inhale, rise the arms up again. Deep, deep breath. Taking a breath or two in each move. Forward fold. So dive all the way down to the earth. Fingertips beside the feet if you can here. Drop the head down. Breathe. Extending the legs. Press down through the feet. Lift your bum up high to the ceiling, the crown to the floor. Exaggerate the squat. Bend your knees. We're going slow, feeling the strength of the thighs. And then the left foot will step way back into a lunge. Keep breathing smoothly and deeply. Knee comes down to the floor in the back. Root down through the four corners of your front foot to float those arms upwards. Interlace your fingers. Look up to your thumbs. And with those back toes curled under and the front foot pressed firmly into the floor, you're creating a foundation from which you can grow from. Drawing the hips downwards, lifting the collarbones and the sternum up, engaging your arm muscles without forcing. So feeling a nice balance between your suppleness and your strength. And then when you exhale, take the hands back down to the mat, framing your foot, step back to your downward facing dog. Keep following the breath, slow flow. How does that feel? Where can you find more length in your body? Where can you create more space in your body? When you're ready to inhale again, take both knees to the floor. Chin, chest lowers down, shoulders down, elbows close to your body. Send your legs back. Plant your weight into the tops of your feet and your pelvis to rise up into your cobra. Let's do that 3 times again on this side and down. Pulling the palms backwards towards the feet, and that gives you that leverage that you need to go long, like you want to slide yourself forward on the floor in front of you. When you're ready to inhale again, push up either from your knees or your toes. Downward facing dog. Take a breath. Glue both feet together. Extending your left leg straight up and back, 3-legged dog, go long. Keep your head relaxed. Doesn't need to go too high, just find some length in that back leg. And as you exhale, the knee comes in towards the chest. Big step through between the hands, drop the back knee to the floor. When you get rooted and grounded, float those arms skyward again, up. Interlace the fingers, look up towards your thumbs and breathe. Creating again that foundation in the lower body, tucking that tailbone down enough so that there gets length in the lower back to find more space and lift through the upper back, your neck. And on another breath, take the hands back down to the floor and beside your foot, lift your back knee. Both feet come together at the top of the mat. Forward fold, pause, breathe. Soft knees, let's bend through to come up into that extended mountain pose, arms up overhead and arms down alongside of the body. Roll the shoulders. Good. So we should have a little bit of heat in our bodies now after that, yes? All right, let's find our balance. Inner balance creates outer balance. So eagle pose, eagle pose. So we'll soften the right knee here. Right, we want to stand tall. So just like you're going to sit in a chair with your legs crossed, cross your I've got left thigh over right thigh. And if you can hook your left toes behind the right calf. That may or may not be possible. And you just kind of sit in. So set up your lower body. Good. Standing tall. Option 1, forearms glue together from fingertips to elbows. Or take your right elbow inside the left, wrapping the arms. Take the thumbs away from your nose. Sink the elbows down towards the navel a little bit. And there's a counter pressure of the elbows towards one another to feel that opening of the space in the upper back and the shoulder blades. Find a gaze in front of you on a floor that's not moving. So just a spot that you can focus on helps with our balance and concentration. Compressing the legs, compressing the arms. Great for squeezing out toxins from our tissues, what we don't need to be eliminated through our elimination channels. Breathe. Ooh. Don't follow me. That's my creative exit from eagle pose. And release gracefully. All right, let's come into the other side. So bending through the left knee this time, standing tall. Want to get the compression, compressing the thighs towards one another, giving that squeeze, the lymphatic system. And then the toes behind the calf, maybe. Arms up, either elbows to fingers, gluing together. Great for our upper back. Or the left elbow inside the right. Once you've got it, move your thumbs away from your nose. Elbows move down to the navel. Find your, we call it a drishti, a focus point. Connect to stillness within you. When we have a busy or an agitated mind, it's a lot harder to focus on balance. And that affects our balance in all areas of our life. That's why we practice balance on the mat with breath, intention, focus. And that follows off the mat into our life and our day-to-day decisions and choices and activities. So after another breath here, steadiness. Release it in any graceful way you can and come on out. Super. Let's breathe in, breathe out with the arms. Reconnect to the center. 2 more times like that. Keep the thighs glued together, the feet rooted into the earth. And bring it down. Good. 1 more time. Breathing in. Now bend your knees. Come on down. We'll just come into one lunge with a twist pose. So right leg will step back, similar to what we did in our salutation. Back knee towards the floor. Good. Now as you come up, extend the arms up overhead again. This time, take the hands down towards your heart. All right, let's come into a twist. So right elbow on the outside of the left thigh. So there's a little bit of leverage here of the thigh pressing into the elbow, elbow into the thigh. Glue the hands together and pull those fingertips back towards your chin. All right, so as the hips sink down, press into the hands to lift your heart. See if you can find more length in your spine. Turn your head to look naturally to the side. Notice how that opens up the space through the side waist. And those are also all the attachments around your liver, so it's very nourishing for the internal organs, so that they can naturally do their detoxification job for us more easily to leave us feeling more energized and less fatigued and heavy or sluggish. Those are symptoms sometimes that the body needs to kind of do a reset. Yoga is a great tool for that. Good. As you release from your twist, take your hands back to the floor here in front of you. We'll go deeper into this hip opener. So both hands on the inside of the foot. Now walk your left foot away from you just a little bit, maybe to the outer edge of your mat. So you have more space to bring the hands down. And if it's possible, walk your right knee and your right foot back even farther. So deep hello to our hip flexors. So for all of us who sit any amount of time during the day, this is a must, total must. Shoulders down. Now, if you can, come roll onto the outer edge of that left foot and send your left knee away. I like to use my hand. So I'm going to place my right hand just a little bit lateral, so outside a touch, so I can bring a little bit of weight to support me here. So wrist and shoulder aligned on the right. My left hand onto the inner left knee, pressing that left knee away enough to coax and guide the hips downwards towards the floor. How's that? All right, so I don't have a lot of weight on my back knee. That's where I use the toes, and you can always put a cover or cushion or an extra little patting of your mat under that back knee if that is vulnerable. How about a little twist? So look towards your left. Final option in this pose, sweep your left arm up and back, placing the left hand on the lower back as you keep the shoulder down. Yes. How about 3 breaths here? And then that back arm can sweep up towards the floor again in front of you. Bring your hands more centered. Pull your hips back into a gentle half splits position. Pull your toes towards your nose. Well balanced on your front heel, your back knee, your toes, and your 2 hands. Draw your left sit bone straight back. A little tick-tock motion with your foot. So we're encouraging an entire internal-external rotation right from the upper thigh bone here to get into all the hip rotators, your glutes, the back of the leg. Beautiful. Good. Let's come back forward into that lunge position where we began. Place your hands, come through a plank position here. So just step your left foot back, pedal your feet a little bit, almost like we did in downward facing dog in the beginning. Pedaling plank. And then our right foot is going to make its way in between the hands any way you can. So it might be easier to take the left knee to the floor and just kind of sweep it through and then extend your left leg back into the lunge. Try that. So we're just doing that same sequence on the other side. So lining up front knee with your front ankle. Get your back leg back so your hip to your back foot. Coaxing the hips downwards. Let's float the arms skyward, breathing in. Look up. Breathe out. Hands come to the heart. Prepare for your twist. Left elbow to the outer part of your right thigh. Glue the hands together. Bring the fingertips towards your chin. And that press of the bottom hand upwards towards the top and the top hand down towards the bottom will help give you that energy you need to bring the spine longer. So any twist in yoga is 50% elongation, then 50% twist. Good. Just breathe. And so send your attention to the left side waist. Descending colon, hip flexor, obliques, abdominals. Do your best to breathe. So we're in a compressive movement. These are great for any kind of detoxification of our body. We're just assisting those elimination channels, your colon, your kidneys, your liver, your lungs, your skin. So we want to be a little warm, get a gentle sweat going on to help our body release what it doesn't need. Makes us feel clearer minded, more energized, more positive, better mood. All right, let's take those hands back to the center here. So release from your twist. Breathe. And we'll take the hands on the inside now of the foot, going deeper into our hip opener. So both hands now are lined up with the shoulders. Let's walk the right foot out just a little bit, maybe to the outer edge of the mat. Roll onto the outer edge of the foot, moving the knee away. So as that happens, I can inch my left knee back a little bit more to move the hips downwards, which encourages almost like a cobra move, the collarbones and the chest upwards, just like we did in our salutation. Gets all those movements repeat and they come back in different poses. Does this feel different on this side for you? It does for me. So we just keep breathing. Send the breath there. We don't have to force or strain. Sthira Sukha Asanam in yoga means steadiness with ease. So there's also this balance between stability and mobility. Where's that balance in your body? Sometimes we exploit too much trying to stretch or too much trying to stay strong. And can you just work both, the yin, the yang? We need both. Good. If you want to go deeper, let's move the left hand to the outside, just enough to give you some space to support yourself. Right hand on the inner right knee, and then just move it away. The hips move down again, and the heart lifts. What sounds escape your body when you do that? Maybe floating that right arm up and back. This is that last version of this posture that I'll offer you. Hand to the lower back to give you that upper back spinal extension that feels so good. It's that love-hate relationship of we know how we feel after we do these. Sometimes it's the good feeling after we're done. Alrighty. After your last breath, feel free to return both hands on the inner part of your right foot. Walk your foot back in to realign, and just a nice slow half splits to readjust, finding balance here between the front heel, back knee, foot, and fingertips. And then internal, external rotation of the entire leg and thigh bone, letting it roll in and out. And so as the leg rolls in and out, we're drawing that right sit bone back. And that's where your hamstrings attach, right at that sit bone area. So you don't have to overdo it. Don't overstrain. Those attachments can be very vulnerable. So just go to the point of feeling a healthy stretch, but there's never pinching, pain, or shaking. Yeah, well done. So from this side here, let's come onto our knees, and we'll have a seat. As we begin to conclude our practice, we'll come down to our back. So glue your feet together. We're just going to do a little bridge pose here, coming down on the floor, but with our knees and our feet close, close, close. So roll down. Use your abdominal muscles to take you downwards, rolling one vertebrae at a time. Good. And then the arms can come down alongside of your body, chin to chest. Take a breath. And I invite you to press your lower back in towards the floor. So there's a little pelvic tilt of drawing the pubic bone up, and the hips are a little bit lowered. So now connect to the feeling of your upper back really well anchored to the floor. Walk your fingertips to your heels. Glue those knees together. And as you rock the pelvis back, start to unglue those 5 lumbar vertebrae from the floor as you roll up the mid-thoracic spine to your upper back. So there should be always that little space between the neck and the floor. So we're not jamming our neck into the floor here. We just stop at the point of feeling supported in our upper back and shoulders for now. And then breathe. So use your gluteal muscles to drive the hips upwards. And then imagine sending your knees away from you to create more distance between the top of your thigh bone, the top of your pelvis, right out through the kneecap. So we're allowing a lot of length through the thighs. Let's take 2 more breaths here. So it's a little bit more muscular action when we do the bridge this way. So feet together, knees together, pelvic tilt so the pubic bone is higher than the hips. And then sending the knees away. You'll probably feel the whole lower body really engaged. When all those muscles of our glutes and our thighs are stronger, our spine is more supported. So then begin to roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Release the breath. Good. Draw both knees into your chest now. Rock side to side, just gently. We're not hugging too tightly. Just find that place of balance where you can kind of pendulum your knees and your thighs from right to left. Nice. Draw your feet back down to the floor. Open the arms nice and wide. Draw the low back towards the floor one more time. And very softly this time, let the knees fall completely over to the right. Turn your head to the left, chin down. And enjoy that twist. Have a spiral motion. And send your attention to your left knee. And then notice the length that's happening from the outer left knee to the outer left hip. And then from your outer left hip right up between the space between the top of your iliac crest and your lower ribs, your obliques, your lower back, and the serratus muscles of the top of your ribs here, moving up towards your armpit and your pectoral muscles. Just feel what's happening on that whole left side as it spirals. And then exaggerate the breath so that your belly is expanding like a balloon when you breathe in. And just let a sigh escape as you breathe out. Let your body go heavy and soft. Do that 2 more times so that each time you let the air escape, you can sink more deeply into the floor. And when you inhale again, very gradually, let the breath carry your knees back to the center. Pause. And is there a difference before going to the other side? Do you notice or feel or sense a difference between right and left right now? I feel like my whole left side is so much more open and spacious and alive, and my right side is wanting that same feeling. So send the legs over to the left, the knees, and then turn your head to the right, shoulders down. Find a position where you feel open, supported, and comfortable. And as you breathe, direct your attention to the outer part of your right knee. Trace a line with your imagination through the outer part of that right thigh to the outer part of your right hip, feeling that length and the stretch, that whole iliotibial band area. And then from the hip, the top of the iliac crest area to these lower ribs, feel that space start to grow and open. And as you breathe, allowing the ribs to open right up through the serratus muscles here, the obliques, the top of your rib cage, and then the pectoral area and the shoulder. And then exaggerate the breath, breathing in, letting the belly expand, and breathing out through your mouth with a sigh. And as you do that, just sink more deeply and relax into your posture and your body. And when you're ready to breathe in again, carry the knees with you and part your feet now on the yoga mat. Let the shoulders come down. Lift your hips off the floor just to realign your pelvis. The knees move in towards one another with the feet wide. Your hands can stay on your belly or just open nice and wide as you feel it. As we come into our final resting pose here to conclude our practice, you may want to stay in this position, which is very supportive for the low back and the hips, or full shavasana with the legs extended, arms open, palms facing up to the ceiling. Let's take a couple of minutes just to scan our body and to allow the effects of our practice to now settle. It's one of the most important postures in all of yoga, is teaching us how to slow down, to rest, to recover our vital energy. It's allowing your mind to be calm by slowing and deepening the breath. Your body to be completely relaxed, just like a scanner as you scan yourself from head downwards, torso, hips, thighs, legs, to feet. My body is relaxed. And as your breath naturally begins to soften and settle, just give your heart permission to be at peace with the way things are in this moment, which allows you to conserve your vital energy as we don't try to change anything right now. Just let it be. Let it be. Surrender all parts of yourself into the earth, feeling supported by the ground beneath you. Notice any sensation now through your hands, your feet, your face, of pulsing, tingling, or heat. As your prana is circulating more freely, more circulation means more oxygen, means more resilient body, means a steadier, calmer mind, and a more balanced state of being. Begin to pedal your feet slowly. Open and close your hands and your fingers. Take a deeper breath, drinking in the breath. Bend your knees back towards you, offering any stretch if you need to lengthen the arms up overhead. And then roll onto one side for a moment. And then let's come back into a seated position. And as you make your way back into seated, just take a pause. Take 3 deep breaths and reconnect to your intention. Noticing that where you place your attention is where energy flows and what you create manifests. So what's one word of what you'd like to step into the rest of the day, of this evening? How do you want to feel? How do you want to be? That's your intention. And then align your words, your actions, your choices to be that. Let's take a deep breath here together with our arms, float them skyward. Come back to your center with your hands to your heart. Take a pause, draw your fingertips to your third eye, your mind, creating the intention of inner hygiene once again, and may my mind be clear, my thoughts be directed and positive. Draw your fingertips to your mouth, your lips, may my words be kind, constructive. And your hands, fingertips to your heart, may my heart be in a space of compassion, of kindness, of empathy, of forgiveness, of well-being. Namaste.